So now that the Titans have made it official that Robert Saleh is their new head coach, many people across the media landscape are going to have think pieces about what the offense is going to look like, the defense is going to look like, who's going to call the plays, what staff is he going to put together, and the like. And that's all well and good, and it's all important. I, however, want to take a different tack and talk about the upbringing that helped shape the new Titans head coach. Ready? Let's tap in. So Saleh was born to Lebanese immigrants in Dearborn, Michigan in 1979. Talented enough to play football and earn a scholarship to Northern Michigan, where he spent 4 years and recorded 45 catches for 494 yards and 2 touchdowns in his career, earning all conference honors as a senior. But, like all of us, college ends, playing career ends, and you have to join the workforce. And so that's what Saleh did. But there was a moment in time that changed his life and ultimately helped him make the choice to follow his passions and get into coaching. And that day is a day that everybody remembers, September 11th, 2001. On that particular day, his brother David was working at the World Trade Center in the South Tower. What they thought was an isolated incident turned into a day that will live in horror for many around this country. The North Tower was hit by a commercial jetliner, and Saleh's brother decided to leave for the day. He was done. And ignoring the call building wide to return to your desks, he got down to the 24th floor when the building that he was in was struck by the second plane. He did not stop, ultimately found his way to safety, but it was one of those moments where Robert Saleh asked himself, is this what I want to do with my life? Or do I want to follow my passions? He ultimately chose to do that, and ended up spending 1 year as an offensive assistant at Michigan State, switching to the other side of the ball the next year, before joining Central Michigan as a defensive assistant in 2004. In 2005, he landed an assistant opportunity at the University of Georgia, going between the hedges, when the NFL came calling, earning an internship with the Houston Texans in 2005, which is where he ultimately crossed paths with a guy who's going to help him in Gary Kubiak. Since then, he was a defensive quality control assistant with the Houston Texans from 2006 to 2008, assistant linebackers coach for the Texans from 2009 to 2010, before joining the Seattle Seahawks in a quality control coach role from 2011 to 2013, most notably part of the Seahawks Super Bowl champion team. After that, he earned a position coach opportunity with the Jacksonville Jaguars under Gus Bradley for 3 years from 2014 to 2016, before joining the San Francisco 49ers as a defensive coordinator in 2017. He did yeoman's work with the 49ers, helped them reach the Super Bowl, before landing his first head coaching opportunity with the New York Jets in 2021. Now, we all know that didn't go well, and there were also a lot of extenuating circumstances surrounding his tenure with the New York Jets. After an offensive analyst role after he was let go from the Jets, he returned to San Francisco to resume his role as defensive coordinator. Most around the 49ers organization knew that it was probably a 1-year deal because he was going to be a coveted coaching candidate the following offseason. And now that he is the head coach of the Titans, we know that was true. It brought something to my mind that I want to continue to talk about. And I think we've all been in a situation like this where you're trying to figure out what's next with your life. Saleh's story echoes a lot of the stories that you hear from many people throughout this country about what's next with your life. Young people coming out of school trying to figure out the next phase of their lives and trying to follow your passions. For Robert Saleh, his passion was coaching. He wanted to coach. And the events of September 11th, 2001, while tragic for many, many people around the world and scary for a lot of others, ultimately was the birth of something that ultimately led him to Nashville, Tennessee. Now, I, for one, have said that Robert Saleh was the choice all along. From the moment Brian Callahan was fired, for me, Robert Saleh was the guy. And all the messaging that came from players like Jeffrey Simmons and what Mike Borgonzi, the general manager of the Titans, wanted in a head coach, all the messaging coming out of Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park pointed towards Robert Saleh. That was the guy that they thought fit everything that this organization needed at this time. And I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say that I think that is the right choice for this organization. And I, for one, cannot wait to see what happens as he builds his staff, as they put together a plan for free agency, and ultimately what they decide to do in the NFL draft. We're a bit early in this journey, but I think that going forward, Robert Saleh fits what this team needs, and he has the right attitude that'll help the Tennessee Titans get off the proverbial NFL mat.